Don't, or I'll leave. I'd rather be a dreamer, I'd rather be free. I'd rather be a leader, I'd rather be a queen. I'd rather be a singer in a trashy cover band. I'd rather be a closer, I'd rather be clean. I'd rather be a poser in a magazine. I'd rather be pretty much anything else than your machine. I wasn't always just a single shade, a palette full of gray in reverie. And I can burn it brighter than the sun. I have a golden gun inside of me. Don't box me in. Don't, or I'll leave. I'd rather be a dreamer, I'd rather be free. I'd rather be a leader, I'd rather be a queen. I'd rather be a singer in a trashy cover band. I'd rather be a closer, I'd rather be clean. I'd rather be a poser in a magazine. I'd rather be pretty much anything else. And if I fall behind, ignoring all the signs, and if I lose the fight, I still rage against the night. Don't box I'd rather be a dreamer, I'd rather be free. I'd rather be a leader, I'd rather be a queen. I'd rather be a singer in a trashy cover band. I'd rather be a closer, I'd rather be clean. I'd rather be a poser in a magazine. I'd rather be pretty much anything else than your machine.
Welcome to the Wednesday stream. I hope everyone's having an awesome Wednesday. Welcome everybody. Sorry about the delay, folks. I've been stuck at work. Today, just a heads up. Today's gonna be a very short stream. So we're just gonna try to get through all the stuff quickly. We only have a couple of things. But today's gonna be a very short stream. Folks, at 10 p.m., I will be on this space, on left past 10. So I will be back, just not here. So today's stream is going to be a little bit short. But that is because, it won't be the last time you see me on stream today. I will be, filling in on left past 10. We're going to have a awesome show. Please tune in this space 10 p.m. Eastern. I'll be back. Erkenstein's Monster, welcome. Michael Hassler, welcome. Nadia, welcome. Skynet, welcome. Joshua, welcome. Cognizant, welcome. My cholesterol is up. John Lithium, Derry Bennett, welcome everybody. Dems leaving trans rights. Yep, I saw that. 1 second, I have my soundboard here. And don't bring some lube to work, then you won't get stuck. I don't think any amount of I don't think the planet's supply of lube would have unstuck me from that. Let me tell you. It's been rough. Folks, if you want to support the channel, check out the links. We got to get started, folks. We really do. We only got a little bit of time. This is going to be a very, 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 very short stream. Thank you all for being here. I appreciate all of you guys hanging out. Again, if you're on the YouTube side, please consider subscribing and checking out today's show on this space at 10 p.m. This will not be the last time, like I said, that you will see me online today. So if this is your first time, I apologize for it being a more shorter stream, but it's okay. I'll be back at 10 p.m. on the channel This Space. As long as it's not Hassan's soundboard, you're good. That's funny. Alright, folks, let's get started.
To be honest, at this point, this is kind of fun for me, making fun of Anna. You know, I saw this clip. I couldn't believe, we could just play the first part, because there's a statement that she makes here about Tucker Carlson.
Yeah, there's 37 people here. Heck yeah. I appreciate all of you guys hanging out on the YouTube side.
That was just genuinely shocking to me in its ignorance. If you talk about Israel-Palestine in any meaningful way.
Folks, if you don't know, just as a quick introduction to the people that may be just watching here, folks, I'm a Difficult Truth. I do the news. I do the politics. We're here Mondays, Wednesdays, Thursdays at around normally 5 p.m. Eastern Time. We do streams for about a couple of hours. And I also do a show on This Space YouTube channel. So if you're on YouTube, you can check that out every Tuesday at 7 p.m.
I don't understand how you could make this statement. But credit to, you know, our buddy Jennifer Welch, Jennifer and Angie over at I've Had It. They're doing really great work. That conversation with Hassan was phenomenal. And I loved how Jennifer talked about how she's changed her perspective and she's more open-minded. She was very much about, you know, vote blue no matter who is how she would categorize it. And while she still would probably act that way herself, she hears what Hassan has to say about, I'm not going to vote for Gavin Newsom, and sees how that's representative of so many other people's opinions and is like, I'm not going to bludgeon these people for feeling this way.
Yeah, that's right. We also end up talking about food for some reason, and Carlos Vanilla has taste buds. True.
That was a rational conversation.
That was, yeah,
between parts of the Democratic Party that need to talk to each other, and everyone trying to short circuit it is the problem themselves.
Exactly, and so she's just showing an open-mindedness that I think is commendable, and the members of the Democratic Party should be engaging in it. And I guess they had this conversation with Anna on. They had her on. You know, she's not a Democrat or leftist anymore. She's independent on the lines in the center.
So impressive.
Or something. You know, a bespoke political ideology, if you will.
A pure individual.
We're all snowflakes, right? And no snowflake is the same.
Only poke his parent gently on the trans front and let the issue slide in the end. Yeesh.
And apparently that's the same for political influencers and how they choose to brand themselves when launching Substacks. So this is an astonishing clip. Here is Jennifer Welch asking her about her collaborations with Tucker Carlson.
Hey, Flow Snake, how's it going?
Politicians, which I want to talk to you next. My next curiosity about you is I see you collab with Tucker Carlson a lot. And so I want you to tell me about that, because Tucker to me is a very dangerous person because he speaks to a lot of people in middle America that have extreme homophobia, extreme transphobia. And I have so many gay friends in Oklahoma that are bullied by their churches, their families, their governments. And he recently was saying like FAGGOT multiple times. And he is clear-eyed on Israel, but I feel like that his position on Israel is also wrapped in, this is my opinion, in some anti-Semitism, the same way his homophobia is.
This is just a very nice way of saying that Tucker Carlson is a Nazi, and that she has concerns as to why Anna would collaborate with a Nazi. She's just being so nice about it. But that's essentially what's happening here. Most don't even bother with gentle poking in the first place, but everyone lets it slide in the end. Well, I mean... Yeah.
And I wanted to get your take on that.
I don't think he's anti-Semitic. I don't at all, actually.
Ooh. Yikes. Yikes. Tucker Carlson is absolutely an anti-Semite. He's literally a Nazi, okay? That's, yeesh. Yeesh. I'm hanging in there, Flow Snake.
In fact, he has even in the past like supported Zionism. But I think once he realizes how detrimental
that was really, we're going to let it go, but that was the money quote for me. When I saw that,
so I mean, like, also, like, yeah, if he supports Zionism, it's because he supports, like, for the same reason that a lot of fascists would support Zionism, right? It's the shared idea of an ethno state that kind of bonds these ideas together. That doesn't mean that Tucker Carlson isn't a Nazi. And also as a side note, it is very telling, or it is important to notate that Tucker Carlson agrees with the Zionism part, right? The ideology of Zionism, okay? Separate from the idea of Jewish identity. Boku, Poggers, Sevens, wait till you hear her argument for why. Oh boy. I fled the US because it's allowed to, I fled the US because it'll be allowed to slide all trans people in the US right into ice crematorium ovens.
Watch this whole thing. I watched the clip of this, and that was the first thing I heard come out of her mouth. Tucker Carlson is not anti-Semitic, she claims, because he previously supported Zionism.
Right, because he's a Zionist because he's anti-Semitic. Correct. Yeah, I don't blame you, Nadia, for fleeing the United States at all, honestly.
How do you work for longer than myself in the political discourse, debate, analysis space, and you're not a far-right person and have that sort of opinion and understanding about Zionism?
Yeah.
Zionists are some of the biggest anti-Semites in the entire country. The Republican Party, the Christian Zionists, that popular.
There's more. What's the thing? Isn't there like more Christian Zionists than like Jewish Zionists? Like it's not linked to anything other than the idea of this. The only thing that bonds this all together is the concept of an ethno-state, right? Like that's what it is. Tinkinator, welcome. I like the clippy profile picture. Tucker Carlson isn't even anti-Zionist, just an American isolationist, as well as racist, homophobic, and indeed fascist, if not full-on Nazi in the old sense of the word. Yeah, I mean, well, yeah, he's a Nazi. Yes.
The Republican Party, Kufi, their entire ideology, and I believe that they've talked about this on their program before, is based on the idea that Jews need to return to the birthplace of Christ so that he can
just wants them there to end the world and summon Jesus.
Return,
I know. And
the majority of them are going to get burned up and die, and then the third or so that accept Christ as their savior get to sit on the right hand of God, and we will they get to survive. The right-wing Christian evangelical.
I'm laughing, but it's not really that funny because like these people are dead serious and they're like absolutely destroying the world to try to make this happen. They're absolutely like hurting people to try to make this delusional prophecy or whatever the heck they want to call it come true. It's really, really insane.
The Zionist movement in this country is predicated on a worldview that results in many Jews dying in their fantasy of the situation, let alone Tucker Carlson's trafficking and things like the Great Replacement Theory, which he still to this day engages in.
Yes,
the notion that there's this demographic replacement that's being
goofy, not koofy. Honestly, I look forward to inheriting the earth. Not all Jews are Zionists, true, not all Zionists are Jews. Exactly. The Zionists in power in Israel do believe this eschatology, it's insane cultist stuff. Yes. Because it all boils down to like, this fundamentalism. And there's no common frame of reference for most of this crap. The left has their view, the right has their view, and they talk past each other all the time. Yeah, I think that like the disconnect is, I think that the disconnect is because the disconnect is because the right wing has this worldview that is based, it's delusional, right? It's not based on reality, and so when we try to talk, like, you know, back then, I don't know about now, but if you try to talk to a right-winger, it always ends up that way because they are coming from a frame of reference that is delusional. It's just not in the realm of reality, right? Like, it's I think that's what's happening here, and that's why and that's why, and it doesn't mean that the left is always 1000% correct all the time 24/7. I'm just saying that, like, the right wing, it's just like in a different world. Like they're not with us. Yeah, they're not on this planet with us right now. But anyways, it'd have to be Christians to believe it. It's a generational thing to me. Most logical explanation. No, I mean, I don't even know if it's a generational thing. I might be wrong though.
Weird. By, these globalists, they'll say, but what that means is Jews.
Yep.
The immigration policy right now is being led by people who genuinely believe that. They believe a majority of the Great Replacement Theory. They may not say that first part. They'll talk about how Latinos and brown people are replacing us and that Democrats want to import them in so that they can have a stronger voter base or what have you.
Yeah.
They may leave out that first part, but that is where that originated.
Yep.
And Tucker Carlson was a major purveyor of that.
Yep. And he has never backed down of any of those positions. Like Tucker Carlson literally had a passing of the torch interview with Nick Fuentes. Essentially, like he was literally talking to Nick Fuentes, and essentially, you know, the old guard passing the torch to the new guard, which is Nick Fuentes and his Groiper army.
There's a vacationer in Israel for a long time. He's like, oh, wait a second, people have a problem with this country? Because, yeah, Israel got massively unpopular. But he was absolutely there to support them and to, more importantly, reinforce the Islamophobic narratives.
Right, like that's really it, right? It's the building, the ethnic cleansing that ties it in together, right? I want to import them in so I can eat more delicious food.
Basically foundational to Zionism worldwide. The anti-Muslim, they're monkeys, whatever he said about Iraq. He's been there. And this sort of idea that, now you got to give people space to change their mind.
The nearby Mexican joint is run by a white dude.
That was part of fucking Air America, the CIA's, or was it not Air America, the...
I forget what it's called. I'm sorry.
You know what it is? The sort of State Department's
carve out, yeah.
For Radio Free America. Like the
Radio
idea that
Free
he
America.
didn't know what he was doing or what Israel's been doing this whole time is ludicrous. It's infantile, but it's something that people need to say in order to get onto his show. And the like sort of softball interview he gave Fuentes to me is cut and dry. He is just an opportunist, and actually, sorry to get a little bit upset.
I don't know why you bothered even typing that. Get out of here. Yeah, try again. Try again. My only hope is that when things get much worse in the next few decades, enough people will resist this in secret society, and the secret societies that rule the world, especially the Zionist cultists, will fail. I mean, nothing is forever. There's just enough uncertainty in the room for even reasonable, intelligent, informed people to make factual mistakes. They're very relevant politically for the people of bad faith with a particular class interest to make an entire movement out of tricking enough people of good faith, and that's where the fundamentally the so-called left-right divide in modern terms come from. Like how the class dynamics that pit a vanished and small elite minority against the material interests of a vast overwhelming majority society. Yep. Radio Free Europe became Voice of America, I think. Really? And not a white guy like me, I make a mean molcajete. End up translating rhetorically and in the minds of many people into this roughly 50-50, and for many people arbitrary left-right divide. At least that's my working pet hypothesis. Yeah, I mean, essentially it's kind of like a expansion of what I'm saying. All I'm saying is like, I think that's the reason why there seems to be this manifestation of this like talking past each other is because like there is one side that just lives in La La Land. They're just not in reality, right? Like our friend here that decided to come in and ask such a question. Is this a lib or slur channel? Yeah, okay, dude. Oh, Fitzriley, welcome. Right, I don't think it's necessarily a generational thing. I mean, again, I could be wrong. It just doesn't make sense.
Like Anna Kasparian is on this issue. I like anybody going up to Piers Morgan and say, don't be Zionist and hate Palestinians. Anna talking about her pivot is because of what the Democrats' policy on Israel is a bit rich, because it was actually about the Democrats' policy on trans people and immigration. And that's just harder to say now because it's actually pretty disgusting that was what she built her pivot on. So it's much safer for her to say, actually, my problem with the Democrats is they supported genocide because, yeah, we all have that problem with them. Guess what? Trump is not a big change in any direction on that. In fact, he's doing the same thing to Cuba right now.
Richard Spencer, who is quite literally a white supremacist himself.
Yeah, literally a Nazi. Looney Tunes, Surfs Raid, I sent us here. Well, thank you. Appreciate it. Welcome, surfers. Hey, folks, if you haven't seen me before, I Am a Difficult Truth. We do the news. We do the politics. We're here Mondays, Wednesdays, Thursdays. Check out my show on this space. I will be on Left Past 10 today at 10 p.m. I think people can change if they want to. Yeah, of course. I agree with that. Sup,
and
surfers?
a anti-Semite, don't think that's controversial to say, has described himself as a Zionist before and spoken about how white nationalism is analogous to Zionism. You could say I'm a white Zionist in the sense that I care about my people. I want to have a secure homeland for us and ourselves, just like you want a secure homeland in Israel.
Right. So it's the it's the ethno-state that does it, right? Like, just exactly as I was saying before, it's the ethno-state that ties all this in together.
He and other Nazis and white supremacists have repeatedly praised the state of Israel because of its ethno-nationalist character. Additionally, white supremacists and neo-Nazis and anti-Semites in this country like the state of Israel because they believe that Jews shouldn't even be here and that they should be in Israel. This statement that Tucker Carlson can't be anti-Semitic because he has previously supported Zionism is one of the most ignorant statements I have ever heard from somebody who I once considered to be fairly intelligent.
Well, the thing is, she is intelligent. I consider Anna to be intelligent. So what I would say is that she's doing it on purpose and she knows what she's doing. That's the other explanation, right? I mean, of course, I'm guessing, because I genuinely don't think that Anna Kasparian doesn't strike me as a dumb individual. Okay, I mean, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe this is genuine. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe this is genuine, but I think it never struck me that she was like a dumb person. That's what I'm saying. A young man spitballing in this crazy world. I'm trying to keep up. It's not easy. Keep up with current events. World's on fire. We're just doing our best. Yeah, it's a grift to the money. Always interesting how neo-Nazis hate Jews but goon over Israel, but then call you anti-Semitic if you criticize Israel. Make it make sense, because it's all about the ethno-state. That's what I'm saying. I'm pretty firm on that hypothesis, or that observation. More, I guess more accurately, it's the ethno-state. They're super into the ethno-state. Marx, Engels, Lenin, Stalin, Mao are a good start for the left. Kim Jong-un, Enver Hoxha, Ho Chi Minh, Fidel Castro, and Thomas Sankara are good follow-ups. She absolutely does know better. I remember her being a lot smarter about things back in 2019. It's not like she forgot anything, everything. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't think that she's. I don't think that she should know better, but she does know, because she does know better. There's a whole apparatus class incentivized to create this propaganda environment that makes it purely reasonable for roughly half of the population that to be that deluded. Yep. And it's odd how Israel claims anti-Semitism is a massive problem, then say nothing when neo-Nazis do the most to spread genuine anti-Semitism, anti-Semitic bile. Zionists and Nazis need each other. It's more like they're both working. It's more like they are working towards ethno-states, right? And they're like, hey, you want an ethno-state for your people, I want an ethno-state for my people, so I support that idea. Does that make sense? There's a difference between intelligent and objective sapiens. You can be intelligent and not be objectively aware of the world. I mean, yeah, that's true. I'm not sure Anna's exactly genius level, but she ain't totally stupid. There's a lot of disingenuous in there too. Yeah. Yep. The Majority Report ecosystem, the Majority Report industrial complex. That's right. That's what this is. Look, check this out. Boom. Godcat, welcome. It's all one. It's all one. That's right. like capitalists fertilizing the soil for themselves, fertilizing the ideological soil, buying up these journalistic outlets that are that's part of their attempts to keep people so delusional. That's right. The Polymarket Studios.
Or at the very
Such, the Democratic Party continues to be an ineffectual controlled opposition foil.
very least, her media diet has caused her to completely lose touch with basic understandings of politics. I mean, we can go for a little bit.
Again, it might be the case that she's just been taken. And fallen into propaganda, because intelligent people, it can also be susceptible to propaganda. So it's quite possible that something in her just clicked, and then she just started going down the rabbit hole of propaganda. Now she found herself here. That is a possibility. You know, no one is above no one is above being caught by propaganda or brainwashing, right? It's quite because again, I'm not in Anna Kasparian's head, but I don't think it matters at the end of the day, right? I guess it's kind of a silly conversation, but anyways, the Majority Report industrial complex gave me a chuckle. That's not okay. So derivatives, yours is just more explicitly bisexual, sincerest form of flattery. I didn't even mean it to be that way. That's just the way I like the lighting, and I guess it just happened. That's just the way it is. Yeah, make sure you're subbed. I have arrived. Now entertain me, peasant. Well, I guess we can start the show now.
Longer.
I'll just say real quick, the issue with Zionism, it has nothing to do with Judaism. The Israel with Zionism is that it's an exclusive nationalism.
Yeah.
And so, in fact, a lot of the original supporters, the founding fathers of Zionism, I forget which one, but thought that, for instance, Dreyfus was guilty during the Dreyfus affair. Like,
Lord Balfour was anti-Semitic in and of himself. I mean, he did not want Jews to change the character of Britain.
Yeah, exactly.
That is why
that
there
is
was
explicitly like great replacement theory. If it works for Lance, it can work for anyone else. True. How we doing, Timu Sam? I'm hanging in there. A good cop is every bit as much of an enemy as the bad cop, but the modus operandi involves a different form of deception. True. True. The Democrats being the good cops in this case. Yeah. Europe is a collection of U.S. vassal states. Welcome, Bruno. I think less now than previously. It's weird, after surfs ended, my Bluetooth lost all sound and I had to disconnect and reconnect. The Nazis cooperated with a lot of Zionist organizations. I mean, I don't know, but it wouldn't surprise me because, again, the whole thing that ties all of this together is this nationalism, this desire to make an ethno-state.
A marriage between white colonizers and the Zionist movement was because of anti-Semitism from its very outset.
Yep. And so the white nationalists like Tucker Carlson, don't people think it's a little bit suspicious how they have the exact same sort of paranoia about Muslims that the Zionists have? It's not a little bit suspicious?
Yes. And you know, she later on will address that. She addresses the fact that Tucker Carlson and Marjorie Taylor Greene have apparently changed their opinions, or at least Tucker Carlson.
In the beginning, they did. Okay, I mean, again, it all ties back to the same thing, right? Like this plan or this project of an ethno state, right? You want your ethno state, we want ours. So why don't you you know. Why don't you go over there? We consider you undesirable, so you probably don't want to be here anyways. You know, whatever. It's the whole idea of this nationalistic ethno-state that ties this thing together. Yeah, to deport Jews from Germany. There you go. There you go. Which is the effort, in the efforts to create the ethno-state. Yep. Matthew's the kind of guy that makes you wish the eternal sunshine and spotless mind was real. Ladybug, welcome. There are techniques for propagandizing intelligent people akin to writing a detective story and letting them think they're the detective. When you see do your own research is often a giveaway. Everyone can express their own opinion, but I'm desensitized by political talk with older citizens. I wish there were more voices my age. You and me both. I think Franny's going to be live with Bernie Sanders in about the next hour. Really? That's awesome. That is awesome. Maybe right now? Okay, cool. Heck yeah. Well, I hope we can finish, I hope we can finish, this stream, and folks, if you are on the YouTube, I highly encourage, Fran is fantastic, and she was on the Majority Report earlier today.
On Muslim people in general, but like, listen to the conversation that we're even having here. It's so factionalized. There's no like path for liberation for the people of
Oh, you're a youngin' then.
Palestine, truly, with this kind of vision that is so factionalized and based on different religions versus the other. Yeah.
I mean, Tucker's engagement, it's like, oh, look at these Christians that got victimized.
Yeah.
Like, that's how he has to lead into it, because he knows he's conditioned his audience to distrust Muslims.
Exactly. Let's just play a little bit more of this and get more context. Maybe it'll help.
I don't think he's anti-Semitic. I don't at all, actually. In fact, he has even in the past like supported Zionism, but I think once he realizes how detrimental,
like it's so frustrating, because like she should know better, and again, I think that she does know better. It's I guess it's just a matter of like filtering out. Is this just like right wing brain rot that she's just fallen into? And she thinks she's found like this self-discovery as this independent now independent mind. I don't know. Is this just literally a grift? Because that's all possible too. It's just frustrating because regardless of what she's thinking, like this is harmful. How do you not know that Tucker Carlson is an anti-Semite when he's been very open about it? If it is, it's money-motivated brain rot. Yeah, that's what Michael Hasser said. It's just a grift. She's not very smart when budding with Tucker Carlson. Yeah, but like I think but she is not dumb. I don't think she's dumb at all. And a failure, Kasparian, or has never been a journalist. She has no damn guts to ask tough questions. Whoa, the woke idiot cancelled. Is it a faux pas to stream her stream? Probably not. I just want to, throw some views her way too. I'm not, exactly the biggest channel on the planet, but until I'm able to like actually do raids on YouTube, I can just tell people to go, And I thought she got to have it both ways. It sure seems like a grift. Probably. Depending on your version of English. Wait, I might have missed something. Oh, she needs to check her check. The turf arc route, en route to wherever she's landed politically betrays the corruption underpinning that new stance. Yep.
The U.S. alliance with Israel really is. He's kind of moved off of supporting Israel in the same way that he has in the past.
Yeah, exactly. Yet once we get to 1K chat, we'll be able to do raids and do all this cool stuff, because that's really like the only thing missing is my ability to do raids. Until then, I can just tell people to go places,
I really don't think he's anti-Semitic. I think you raise a valid point about his views on, gay people. I definitely do agree with you on that. And I disagree with him. I have a completely different view when it comes to gay people, gay rights, gay marriage, and all of that. But in regard to the anti-Semitic question, I don't think he's anti-Semitic at all. In fact, he's pretty well read on the issues.
God, what a clown, man. What a clown. What a clown. This has always been a pet peeve of mine when people say person X in politics or political commentary is dumb. 95% of them know exactly what they're doing. Yeah, like I said, it doesn't strike. It doesn't strike me. Anna Kasparian doesn't strike me as a very dumb person. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think she is. It's also a problem of algorithmic capture. Don't underestimate the ability for political influencers and commentators to change their views to fit their audience and maximize views. Grifters are rife too. Yeah, I listen, chat. If I ever do that, y'all better call me out on that stuff, okay? Okay? If I ever like have a significant change in my ideology, y'all need to bring the hammer down, okay? En route is taken from the French, so route rare rhymes with the more you know. I'm yet to find RAM modules for a decent price tag due to AI slop hype. Yeah, it's gonna be like that for a while, Bruno. Louis Gohmert was truly dumb person in politics. Hermit Horologist, welcome. Like in Canada, the apparent difference between welfare check and welfare check. I remember her old stuff with Michael Brooks. She's not stupid. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm constantly changing politically. I mean, the way that I, the way that I, the core, like, axiomatic, beliefs have not changed. What changes is how I go about it and the arguments that I make. And the arguments that I make are what changes. I make better arguments the more I learn. If Michael Brooks was still alive, he would totally kick Hannah's ass and get her straight. I agree. I mean, like, I think he would have a serious conversation with her. And I think she might actually, if he was alive, I think she might have actually listened to him in this hypothetical situation. What Cenk and Anna did with their pivot to the right was one of the biggest political betrayals of all time. The progressive movement built that channel and these charlatans stole it from us. Yep. Ask me that 5 years ago, even I'd be like, nah, it's facially unreasonable. Do you think there's truth to Pizzagate? Nope. With the unveilings of the Epstein files that warrants investigation? Nope. No, Pizzagate was a psyop. Pizzagate and the whole QAnon was a psyop to cover up for the Epstein files that was made by the Epstein files. Sorry, by Jeffrey Epstein himself. Not QAnon, that was some BS, but I mean the actual Elefantis page. No, Pizzagate. What? Pizzagate was never a thing. If Michael Brooks was still alive, we'd be running him for president. Godspeed. That would have been beautiful. Can you imagine? I should have predicted that like clockwork. I don't get many issues with audience capture while singing the praises of Marx, Engels, Lenin, Stalin, and Mao, Kim Jong-un, Hoxha, Ho Chi Minh, Castro, Sankara.
That hurt us due to our relationship with an alliance with Israel. And he articulates that regularly. And by the way, I mean, he had asked me to go on his show, his podcast, a year and a half in advance of me finally agreeing to do it. And part of the reason why I wouldn't do it initially is because
it's not weird that he was also in the same circles, because he's the one that's perpetuating all these things on 4chan and QAnon and Pizzagate. all of them were psyops by Jeffrey Epstein. So no, it's not. Now that we know this, it's not really that weird. Does that make sense? Now that we know all of this and we know what Jeffrey Epstein was doing, it's not that weird. He's the one that's perpetuating that to cover up what actually was happening.
Thought there's like nothing, there's no redeeming quality about this guy. There's no use in having a conversation with him. But his producers were so persistent that I finally decided, okay, fine, I'll listen to his podcast. I'll make an informed decision and see if there's maybe a possibility that I'll do this interview. And I do think he gets taken out of context a lot.
Tucker Carlson does not get taken out of context at all. She knows that. That's a lie. She knows that, and that's a lie. Hocha and Kingdom Song. Oh, grandfather. Oh, yes, I knew that. Of course I did. I'm so effing baked right now. That's the only way we can get through the news. I don't understand how Cenk and Anna talk like, I don't understand how Cenk and Anna taking Thiel money, Peter Thiel, the guy in the Epstein files, like it's not a bigger deal. Yep. Live from Polymarket Studios. I have a huge problem with Stalin because he was a little psychopath who made lists of random names to torture.
Definitely
All right, this is a
deeply
name.
conservative.
This is a name.
I don't,
and this
obviously
is
we're going to have to
idiotic. And very focused on, as if this matters, the booking process of getting her on Tucker Carlson.
I've actually heard things about that. Years and years ago, I think pre-COVID.
It's interesting.
I heard it's interesting who gets the invite and who doesn't. Because I've heard things about Tucker Carlson where he'll invite people who write for leftist publications and pick their brains about certain things like criticizing the Clintons or whatever. And I've heard that those people have said, hey, I'll come on to Fox News when you're still on there to talk all of this stuff. And then all of a sudden the trail goes cold. Because he just wanted...
A year and a half ago, Anna was saying Tucker has no redeeming qualities. He represents everything bad, but Tucker wanted her on the show. Now, look, she's a fan. Well, I don't know if she's a fan or maybe she is, but like, yeah, that's what I'm saying. So like, she's lying. She's lying. She's lying. Anna's an op as far as I'm concerned. Agreed. I 100% think both Dems and Republicans are involved in these rings and Epstein. Well, anyone who's a billionaire, right? Essentially, anyone who's a billionaire, is pretty much like involved. It's not even like Democrat Republican thing. It's like anyone who's a capitalist class, the Epstein class, is pretty much guaranteed to be implicated. I would pay for front row seats to debate, followed by a fist fight featuring Cenk and Anna on the team and Sam and M on the other.
really want to platform them. So it's just interesting who Tucker wants to platform versus who he doesn't.
Also, the whole response there was just about gay people and did not address one thing that Jennifer mentioned about trans people.
Oh, he's so well read now. When did he get well read about Israel-Palestine?
It's also like... I mean, some of the most evil people on the planet.
Tucker Carlson's read academic engagement on the genocide of Palestine is the only thing that he cares about is the Palestinians being eradicated. That's it. Or conversely, when it stopped suiting him, he started saying that maybe Israel has gone too far. Like that's where Tucker Carlson stands, right? Because he's not really interested in supporting Jewish people because obviously he's anti-Semitic, but he's also incredibly anti Muslim as well. Extreme wealth rots the brain. She's here in spirit.
And are well read. Oh, good. I mean, Henry Kissinger was a brilliant guy. Okay, great. Absolves him of everything.
But,
I mean, it's very, very bizarre.
Why is he? How much older than me is Tucker Carlson? Like, why is this stuff just? He's not a baby boy.
Exactly. And again, Anna knows all this. So she's lying.
He's been in news for decades and decades and decades.
Yeah.
Like in the 90s.
Right.
This guy was writing for publications. But now he's well read about Israel-Palestine. He could have shown it a little bit fucking earlier.
You know, it's fun for me to kind of mock this. It's just a bit of layups for us at this point. It's not that hard. But I mean, in reality, I guess it's a bit of covering this helps us kind of reframe how we should probably look, I think, at Israel-Palestine as like when we're looking at the discourse and the momentum towards Palestinian liberation, what kinds of allies are going to be sincere in that fight? And it's not going to be a Tucker Carlson, who I think it's helpful right now what he's doing. I welcome that he goes and speaks he went to that orphanage, right? Again, it's this overfocus on Christianity because he's talking about the factions. He's stoking factions between religious groups.
He's stoking religious strife and obscuring the nationalism of it. But sure, he's against Israel, so fine.
And fomenting anti-Semitism by doing that, as we claim he's not anti.
Right. So he's not an ally, right? Like that's the thing. Like a lot of these Nazis have decided to co-opt the language. As Nazis do, they decided to co-opt the language of the left, but instead of being actually interested in the humanitarian crisis, the genocide that is actually happening, it is a front to inject Nazi ideology. That's what's happening here. People like Tucker Carlson don't actually care about the Palestinian people. They don't care about the Palestinian genocide. That's not what Tucker Carlson is interested in. He's interested in injecting Nazi ideology and using this issue as a vehicle. That's what he's doing.
Semitic, where, you know, what a true egalitarian vision is talking about Israel as a secular humanist state that is not maintained by force and domination and on the basis of ethnic or religious supremacy. And
I want to grow everyone on this show, YouTube show, and Tucker, screw it. Don't act like you care about international affairs. Tucker definitely doesn't care.
It's quite easy, I think, at this point, given where
I tend to find that the enemy of my enemy is often another enemy.
public
True.
polling
look,
is
chat's on the same vibe.
speaking about the genocide and talking about the moral outrage of it and going on cable news and advocating for that. I think that's a good thing to do. But when we're talking about like what the next step is for building a political constituency that can change things, deciding if Jews or Muslims are worse is not really the kind of discourse that I think is quite helpful in that regard.
No, I would say it's probably exactly the wrong sort of discourse. But look, I have Francesca Albanese on. It's just like when you're emphasizing, again, the religious elements of these this issue and not the nationalism, which is foundational to it, you're doing the work of the Zionists still.
Hey, folks, don't forget to hit the subscribe button.
That's right. I've informed on this Cenk Uygur guy, and she has confirmed that Mr. Uygur is in the Epstein files. Are we still talking about Epstein? He's interested in himself and the interests of the entities which fund his lifestyle. Who, Carlson? I mean, on top of that, yes. Yes. Sam jump scare. Well, something is very wrong because they're grifting. Like Anna Kasparian isn't being honest. Okay, I don't know why. I don't know her motivations. I don't really. I guess it's not our job to figure out why she's doing this or what's going on in her head. But she's not being honest, and she knows that. She should know that. And she should know that people can see through that. Can we please talk about RFK Jr. drinking Kid Rock's? No. No, I don't want to talk about that. I don't. I've seen the videos. No. The Majority Report played it earlier. Nobody needs to see that. Nobody needs to see that. Folks, we got two things to talk about here. Epstein files suggest that acts that may amount to crimes against humanity. Yeah, I would say so. Millions of files related to the convicted child sex offender Jeffrey Epstein suggest the existence of global criminal enterprise that carried out acts meeting the legal threshold of crimes against humanity, a panel of independent experts appointed by the UN Human Rights Council has said. The experts said crimes outlined in the documents released by the U.S. Department of Justice were committed against a backdrop of supremacist beliefs, racism, corruption, and extreme misogyny. Yeah, no kidding. No kidding. Ground level news, welcome. Swimming in jeans like a couple of psychos, I know. I wonder if Anna thinks that she has fans. I mean, probably not, because she's clearly not audience captured by her audience, at least. I'm sure she has fans. That people that genuinely like listening to her, but I'm just saying, like, I don't know. I don't know what the deal is. What the deal is. It may just be as simple as a grift, and the grift is kind of falling apart. So now she's doing the circuit, the podcast circuit, and see if she can retain some of that. I don't know. I was like watching it at Florida Tweaker wrestling an Italian leather sofa. They 100% are just eating babies or something, or worse. It's the over-analysis, in my opinion, everywhere, not just this YouTube group alone. There are other important things to cover. I mean, yeah, there's so many things to cover. I don't think we can all get to everything. It's just a matter of, like, what you want to highlight. I was arguing with an anti-Semite online who claimed to support Palestine when I said they were no friend of the Palestinians. They replied, "I can see your nose from here." Yeah, that's a Nazi. That's a Nazi. Yep. That would be a Nazi you were arguing with. And has fans, jank. Italian leather sofa, better watch out for JD fans. Oof. Now it's probably a good time for them to grift as progressives. Yep. And so the podcast circuit begins, you know? Yeah, some words are trigger words, chat. Use pseudo words. True. Alright, folks, let me get through this and we're out of here. The experts said crimes outlined in the documents released by the U.S. Department of Justice were committed against a backdrop of supremacist beliefs, racism, corruption, and extreme misogyny. The crimes, they said, showed a commodification and dehumanization of women and girls. So grave is the scale, nature, and systemic character and the transnational reach of these atrocities against women and girls that a number of them may reasonably meet the legal threshold for crimes against humanity. Yeah. I agree. The experts say that the allegations contained in the files require an independent, thorough, and impartial investigation, and said inquiries should also be launched to how this was possible for such crimes to be committed for so long. We don't need an investigation for that. I'll tell you the answer. It's because these people are incredibly rich and incredibly powerful. And there is a two-tier system of justice when it comes to people who are incredibly rich and incredibly powerful. That's what's happening, okay? The U.S. Justice Department did not immediately respond to a request for comment. And a law approved by Congress with broad bipartisan support in November required all Epstein-related files to be made public, which they still have not done. The UN also raised concerns about serious compliance failures and botched redactions that expose sensitive victim information. More than 1,200 victims were identified in the document that have been released so far. The reluctance to fully disclose information or broaden investigations have left so many survivors feeling traumatized, re-traumatized, and subject to what they have described as institutional gaslighting. The release of the documents by the Justice Department revealed that Epstein's ties to many prominent people in politics, finance, academia, and business, both before and after he pleaded guilty to the 2008 prostitution charge, which was a BS sweetheart deal that was given to him by Alex Acosta, the Attorney General in Florida, which incidentally was the Attorney General in Trump's first term. Yeah. He was found, including soliciting an underage girl. Yeah. He was found dead in his jail cell in 2019 after being arrested again on federal charges of sex trafficking of minors. His death was, quote, ruled a suicide. I mean, this is not surprising at all. One of those botch redactions also revealed Elon's name at one point. Yep. There was a Latino model back in 2008 disappeared after saying they were eating people. It was 2008, a long time ago. Yes, yeah, and I don't know what ended up happening to her. She's gone. She was in, I think this was Mexico, I want to say. I could be wrong though. Folks, if you want to know, how your oppression is working, this is how it's working. This is how the oppression and the boot works. Colombia, not Mexico. I apologize. There was 1,168 agencies and officers signed up to help ICE, up from 135 during the Biden administration and 150 at the end of Trump's first term. Agreements between ICE and local law enforcement that allow officers to make federal immigration arrests have increased by 950% in the first year of President Trump's second term, according to new analysis of ICE data. As of January 26, there was 1,168 agencies with officers trained to help ICE, up from 135 during Biden and 150 from end of Trump 1.0. According to analysis by FWD.US, a nonpartisan policy organization. ICE officers have been found guilty of sexually abusing a detainee in the Louisiana ICE facility. Not surprising, these people are exactly who you think they are. Yes. The administration has called on local law enforcement to support its growing deportation efforts, i.e. the ethnic cleansing efforts, operations nationwide, reviving a controversial task force model that allows local police officers to be deputized by ICE to stop people and make arrests based on their race. Okay? That's literally how that's playing out, okay? In fact, they went to the Supreme Court to try to argue that based on suspicion that someone is here illegally, i.e. they're brown. Under the program, police are deputized to ICE while they're also expected to continue doing their regular work. The Dallas Police Department recently rejected a proposal to join, citing concerns that their officers would be pulled away from their normal duties. The Montgomery County, Maryland, the District Attorney and Police Chiefs Association said in a joint statement that none of its departments had signed any agreements with ICE. The county borders Washington, D.C. The Montgomery County Detective Bureau and police departments in Montgomery County do not enforce civil immigration orders. Enforceable warrants must be signed by a judge. But in New Orleans, where local leaders do not want to participate, Republican Governor Jeff Landry issued an executive order directing state law enforcement agencies to help in federal immigration operations, including encouraging local departments to sign on to ICE programs. The quote task force was modeled the quote task force model was discontinued by the Obama administration in 2012 in part of over accusation of racial profiling. Surprise, surprise! By local officers in Maricopa County, Arizona, Alamance County, North Carolina. The Trump administration restarted the program early in 2025 with new funding and incentives for state, local police departments, and sheriff's office. ICE advertising the program promised to give law enforcement agencies $7,500 for equipment per trained officer, $100,000 for new vehicles, and overtime pay of up to 25% of an officer's salary. Yeah, we got all the money in the world to oppress you. Look at all this money being thrown around to oppress you. But yeah, good luck if you want healthcare. I'm tapping out. Have a good night. I understand that. Those I have had it, ladies. They were talking to Anna, said they were tracking people on Facebook, Instagram, and X who were making anti-ICE posts. Yeah. 100%. In fact, I'm pretty sure there was a I think it was you that made a comment the other day that it was the DHS, maybe it was a different chatter, but DHS was requesting information from all these companies, from like Google and Facebook and whatnot. I don't know whether or not they complied. I assume that they did, or that they will comply with the request from the DHS, but anyone basically making anti-ICE posts, yeah, would be, you can put me on that list. Fuck ICE. Isn't that everybody though? Pretty much. The entire milliardaire capitalist Epstein class is guilty. They all need to be apprehended, prosecuted, and imprisoned for life at minimum, and above all, denied impunity. I 1000% agree. Which North Carolina county? Alamance County. Ooh, sorry, Alamance County, North Carolina over here. They can't help us with the money. That's called socialism, and all those countries are enemies, apparently. True. ICE's advertising program. Oh, yes. Beautiful. Very, very good. We have all this money to oppress you, but none to help you. Gotcha. Understood. The analysis shows 39 states have policing agencies now participating, but didn't give the total number of officers now working with ICE. The states with the most participating agencies were Florida, of course, with 342 agreements, Texas, 296 agreements, Tennessee, 63, Pennsylvania, 58, Alabama, 52, according to the analysis of FWD.US, which advocates for immigration and criminal justice reform. State and local police agencies and sheriff's department potentially stand to gain between $1.4 billion and $2 billion this year if they agree to participate because of the large infusion of cash from Trump's One Big Beautiful Bill, the organization predicted. This amount would dwarf all other federal funding for local law enforcement. As the cooperation grows between federal and local law enforcement, support for Trump's immigration agenda is declining after federal immigrants murdered 2 American citizens last month, according to the NBC News Decision Desk poll powered by SurveyMonkey. 60% of those surveyed in the week after the murder of Alex Brady in Minnesota somewhat strongly disapproved of Trump's actions on border security and immigration. This is the problem. This shouldn't be framed as a border security immigration thing, right? It's not. Another 40% approved of Trump on the issue, including 27 who strongly approved, of course, and 13% who somewhat approved. Most of the criticism over immigration enforcement tactics have been focused on federal officers who have surged operations in Minneapolis, Los Angeles, New Orleans, Chicago, and elsewhere, but as more and more local police are trained to make immigration arrests, that could change. I suspect we're going to start hearing more of these stories, said Felicity Rose, Vice President of Criminal Justice Research and Policy at the FWD.US, who analyzed the data. Last time the model was in place, it said there was a lot of effects on communities, including reduced attendance at schools, reduced healthcare access, all the things we see when ICE comes to town and people are afraid to leave their houses. The fear is that quotas and surveillance that we have seen from ICE is spreading across the country in a wider way. The Trump administration has championed the program. ICE said on its website that it recognizes the importance of its relationship with law enforcement partners, including state, local, and tribal agencies, to carry out its critical mission. By delegating duties, the program makes it possible to better, quote, protect the homeland, fascist rhetoric, through arrest and removal of immigrants who undermine the safety of our nation's communities and the integrity of U.S. immigration law. Yeah, this is straight up like fascist rhetoric. This is straight up, 1 for 1. 100%. Anyways, folks, if you want to know how your oppression works, it works like this. That's how it works. They're just like that squad's like brown shirts. Pretty much. Pretty much. Jeff Randy is a horrible guy. I should never made a special ambassador to Greenland. I'm ordering the FBI to raid his house and arrest his family. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Alright, folks, I gotta get out of here. Thank you all for being here. I hate the creeping control that is continually pushed by both parties. No, actually. It is not to the same, like, it's not, it is not the same at all. Say what you will about the Democrats, like, they have their problems too. But the Democratic Party, it wouldn't be like this. You know what I mean? It's not like they're good, but it wouldn't be straight fascism like we're seeing now. This is on a whole level. This is different. This is very different, okay? I'd rather be fighting liberals, okay? I'd much rather be fighting liberals than literal fascists, okay? That's kind of like where I stand. I'd rather be arguing against liberals than straight up fighting fascists. Thank you all for being here. I appreciate it. I feel like it's two arms almost sometimes. Find it hard to reconcile. What I mean is the official party's not people like you and I. What I think people are when they say that, I think the issue I think the issue is that, like, fundamentally the problem and why people feel that way is because, well, the Democrats are captured by capital. It's all going back to the same problem. The Democrats are essentially captured by capital, so they're from there the downstream problems manifest themselves. If that makes sense. The good cop always flip to do the same thing as the bad cop when pressed. Yeah, because they're captured by capital. And they're not your friends necessarily. It's just that, like, I don't think that I don't think it's necessarily, like, the right way of thinking about it to say that to say that, like, oh, it's just both parties and whatever. Like, that's not the argument. That isn't the argument. We have fascism now. The parties no longer matter. I agree. Let's deal with that first. Thank you all for being here. Thank you, Michael Hassler, for modding the chat. I appreciate it, folks. Catch my show on catch me on Left Past 10 at 10 p.m. Eastern Time on this space. And so ends another boring as hell episode of Awoke, A Difficult Truth. Time for him to go bye-bye. Bye-bye. We're out of here, folks. Thank you all, as always, folks. Please stay safe. Please take care of each other. I love you all, and I hope to see you guys in the next one. Check out all the links and do all the stuff. Subscribe, and all the cool stuff. Thank you all for being here once again. Thank you, Michael Hassler, for modding the chat. Check out the links. Check out this space, 10 p.m. Eastern Time. As always, please stay safe. Please take care of each other. Ladybug, as always, we'll see you guys in the next one. Tomorrow, maybe. I don't know. I'm already tired, okay? I'm already tired, okay? Folks, I'm already tired, and it's not tomorrow yet. Thank you all for being here. Bye-bye! Franny's gonna be on with Bernie in about an hour. Oh, yes, that's right. Check out Franny's show, please. She needs no introduction. She's on YouTube and on Twitch, folks. She's on YouTube and on Twitch. Bye-bye! Bye-bye! Hang tight, folks. Yeah, I need a nap too. Alright, folks. Hang tight. We're heading out in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bye-bye.